This is Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance coming to you from San Diego County today. We are joined again by Dan McAllister. Glad to have him back. He is the treasurer tax collector of San Diego County. So I want to speak with you about property. We all pay our property taxes if we own property. It could be a home, business, even property within a business is taxed. That money comes to you. What happens if someone fails to pay their property taxes?
Well, California law is pretty general and pretty generous.
Okay.
And it gives people up to 5 years to make good on their tax bills when it comes to property tax bills. And we're talking about secured property.
Right.
Properties like houses or commercial buildings or just vacant land, something that's financed and secured by that property for the bank or the lender.
Okay.
And in many cases, people pay their taxes with no questions. I think I've shared with you that we have a 99% collection rate. It's fantastic, phenomenal. It's a tribute to not only the people in San Diego, but to my great staff who works really hard to make sure that happens. But in the cases where people fail to pay their taxes then roll into what's called default, and they then start to accrue late fees and penalties.
So when someone falls into arrears, and if they have a mortgage on their home, for example, we hit the 5-year, well, if they're not paying, they could be paying their mortgage but not their taxes.
It's not likely if they're not, if they're missing on either.
Right, they're probably missing on both. So what I'm trying to figure out is what properties wind up falling to the county, because I presume if you're not paying your mortgage and your property taxes, the bank's going to take it.
The bank will beat everybody to the punch because the bank can foreclose in about 120 days, or 150 days. So our comparison is 5 years, and we have to honor that 5 years by law. So what we do is we send notices out, we make house calls, we knock on doors.
Yeah, because I presume sometimes maybe there's a death and the information didn't get to you, or who knows what happened.
We know things happen. Sometimes it's a matter of issues where illness has overtaken the house. Memory loss. Bad things happen sometimes.
But if someone does not pay, the bank forecloses, the bank takes the property, they have to pay the property taxes.
Yes, that's true.
The bank does.
The creditors fall behind us. And the first right of refusal is us with the money that's generated when we sell the property.
Okay, so let's talk about what happens if there's not a first or a second. Then, maybe the property is owned free and clear. They're not paying their property taxes. What happens after 5 years?
After 5 years, we have the right to sell the property at auction, or however we deem reasonable to sell.
And let's talk about that.
And we do, and we have just done the most remarkable sale in our history. I
really want to dig deep because it truly is the most remarkable in history. Let's go back to 2007, for example. Just 10 years ago, there was an auction in San Diego County with properties. You only were able to net $223,000. Help me with the math, sir. 10 years later, your auction netted $5.61 million. Is that 200%? 2,000%?
It's a lot.
Help me, Andy.
It's a lot. It's a lot for your
but how much more is it?
But let me just tell you that one of the reasons those numbers are so skewed is that there was not an issue of the economy being bad at the turn of the century. Now remember, you've got to back out 5 years. So what happened 5 years in advance of 2007?
Because I was going to say,
the economy was good, things were rocking and rolling.
I'm so glad you said that. So let's look at 2008. The economy was in the dumps, but 5 years from that is 2013, we had a spike.
Many more properties then because of this doldrum period here.
And then 2012, the recession's ending, but that means people aren't paying 5 years later,
so
2017.
Here we are in 2017. We think it's the pig and the python finally coming to free air.
Literally.
Yeah, that's right.
So let's talk about that auction. We talked about it on our last discussion. How did it work, and how will it work? Because it's not done.
It's not done, but we have got a great start going.
Okay.
First of all, we started with about 1,600 properties a month and a half ago.
And give us a sense of the properties. What were they?
1,200, for instance, were timeshares.
Okay.
These are low-valued units.
We're in San Diego County.
By any definition.
Yeah.
Some of the prices started at just $900 to retire the minimal taxes that were owed over a 5-year period on those taxable units.
So help me, sir. If the property bill is $5,000, are you required either by law or otherwise to net at least $5,000?
We try to build in the amount that is due, the penalties that are due because of that, and any costs associated with our sale.
But would you sell below what was owed at auction?
We would not want to.
But it's an auction.
In some cases, if things don't move over a 1 or 2 or 3 year period, we might do that.
Property could continue
if it's not showing interest to buyers.
Are you personally involved in making those decisions?
Well, it falls under my auspices, so yes, I'm the responsible party.
But other than the buck stops here,
correct.
Is it a staff member, or are you actually right there deciding, okay, this is a high enough price?
Let me just tell you that we have an incredible staff.
I understand.
They're professional in every stretch of the imagination, and they are into valuation. They work closely with the assessor's office to come up with reasonable valuations on these properties.
So you don't need to be at the auction giving a yes or a no.
Until just 2 or 3 years ago, I conducted every auction live. I was the auctioneer.
Oh, and, I need video on that.
It was terrific. It was a lot of fun, but I ended up being hoarse for a month after every auction.
Did you deal out of that?
I just thought, let's call a pro in. So we had a pro auctioneer come in for 2 years running.
And apparently he did a great individual's done a good job.
Well, but then this year, we decided actually a year and a half ago to go electric. And so everything is online now, and that's what was so stupendous about this result.
And you do not need to be a San Diego County resident to buy.
Not at all.
But all the properties are in San Diego County, of course. And so it looks like 343 properties were sold for about $5.6 million. That beats the prior record by over $2 million. But like you said, let me just mention, 13 were homes or businesses, 117 unimproved land, 213 timeshares. But you're not done, because I think you told me, how many properties do you still have?
Well, we have right now 1,012 left.
Okay.
And it's a mixture, mostly timeshares. But what we're going to do is regroup. We're going to bring things together, and we're going to re-offer these properties at another auction online July 21st through 26th.
Help us to figure out how we can bid. Again, doesn't matter where you are in the state. How do you do it?
Bidding registration will start June 21st.
Okay.
And people should go onto our website for more information. That's very easy, www.sdttc.com. And they will get all the information they ever dreamed of there.
And then you place a bid starting the 21st. Will you get notification if you've been outbid so you can play, eBay?
If you think eBay, you've thought pretty closely to what we've got here. The properties are offered. There's a heated
are there bidding wars? Have you seen a lot of bidding wars?
Well, sure. I mean, $5.6 million is the most we've ever generated. So it must have been some give and take back and forth between bidders.
What a treat. I may have to take a look at this. I'm sure many of our viewers will as well. His name is Dan McAllister. He is the Treasurer Tax Collector of San Diego County. The upcoming auction for properties in arrears, July 21st to the 26th. Go to sdttc.com. I'm Brad Pomerance in San Diego, Local Edition.